Hello friends, in today's video, I will try to explore the impact of coronavirus outbreak on the economy, and also I will try to drive the outlook of economy on the backdrop of current pandemic situation. So welcome to my show on incredible ideas of wealth creation, and this is Anik. So friends, let's start. Let's try to explore the backdrop of this pandemic situation first. It's not the coronavirus which triggered the slowdown in our economy. The slowdown has started around a year back. GDP growth has started contracting since July 18, and in the subsequent quarters, it constantly registered some degrowth. The constant degrowth in the economy was due to slowdown in manufacturing, in construction, and in consumption. With this backdrop, we have entered the pandemic situation. So pandemic has fueled the fire, but it was not the core cause of this economic slowdown. So we will try to understand how the pandemic is panning out to the economy at this point of time, and we will explore the IIP data, which will give us some realistic view of what has happened so far. So let's check the index of industrial production of India. So firstly, we will try to understand the whole thing from some graphical representation. This is the manufacturing graph, which shows that there was a steep fall in the manufacturing data, and afterwards the recovery has also happened up to a certain extent. Now this is about the whole manufacturing. Now we will try to split the whole manufacturing process into different sectors. For the first instance, let's consider the food products segment. It seems from this graph that it is least affected sector, and like the fall was not that steep as it was in case of overall manufacturing process. So the food product has revived a little bit, but the fall was also not very sharp. That is very important. If you check the textile, then textile had a very strong and steep fall, but recovery was not very strong. Like the way the entire manufacturing segment has recovered, in the same way textile has not recovered. The apparel also says the same story. Apparel also had a steep fall, and recovery was also not very sharp. As far as motor vehicles, means manufacturing of automobiles are concerned, we know that automobile has been facing a severe slowdown since last couple of years, almost couple of years. So pandemic again added the like it was a fuel into the fire, and the fall was very sharp, and recovery was also not up to that mark. It's not just like manufacturing, overall manufacturing data. Machinery and equipments, it says that yes, comeback has happened up to a certain extent after the steep fall, and this is due to some capex is happening. That's why machineries and equipments are being purchased. So expectation is there. It seems that some expectation is there till the data. This data says about June, performance of June, and surprisingly, pharmaceutical fall was not that steep, and currently it is operating at above pre-COVID level. Obviously, this is the pandemic is something related to virus, so everyone is aware of this hygiene and those health related things. So people are very much conscious, and manufacturing of pharmaceutical has revived in a V shape, and currently it is operating below above pandemic situation. So let's check the data a little bit. It says that food product, as we have seen in this graph, that during March 20, the fall was year-on-year fall was 15%. In the subsequent months, in April, in 20, it was 25%. It was like the lockdown, like main lockdown happened during this April, and then in May it was 18% down year-on-year basis, and in June it was down only 3% year-on-year basis. So revival is, firstly, very important is for food products, fall was not that sharp, and revival was good enough till June. Textile, yes, as we have seen, the fall was very steep, 17% in March. In April it was almost a whitewash, 95% down during April, 68% during May, and still in June it is 54% down. So textile is a bad hit. Wearing apparel, 40% down in March. It shows that weakness was there even at the pre-COVID level. So fall in April was again 96%, so you can say it was a whitewash. 61% down in May, and again 40% down in June. So recovery is way behind actually compared to pre-COVID level. Paper and paper products, again it started with 31% down in March, 76% in April, 48% in May, and 40% on June year-on-year basis. So fall was steep, recovery was not that sharp in paper and paper products. Pharmaceutical, we have discussed, it is operating at 35% above previous year's June 19 level. And motor vehicles, yes, 49% down in March, as I already mentioned that pre-COVID level was very weak for automobile, for 50%, almost 50% down in March, 100% washout was in April. Still in May is 82% down, and again very close to 50% down in June. Manufacturing of machinery and equipments is also down, 38% in March, 91% in April, 61% in May, and June 32%. So overall manufacturing is still operating at 17% degrowth during June. So overall IIP says that although manufacturing has revived a lot compared to April and May, still still some further recovery is very much required to achieve the pre-COVID level. But as far as some sectors are concerned, like textile, apparel, even paper and automobile also, they are not doing well, and they like some issues are still visible over there on those segments, so remains concerned over there. So this is the IIP data, and afterwards we will try to explore some other set of data as well. To understand the degree of impact, we will take a look into the employment data. Average employment during 1920 was 40.4 crore, which fell to 39.6 crore during March 20. During April, it fell sharply by 29% at 28.2 crore. As far as job loss is concerned, small traders and laborers were impacted the most. 91 million job loss was recorded for small traders and laborers. 18 million entrepreneurs also lost their job, while almost 18 million salaried persons also lost their job. According to some industry source, small traders, which includes hawkers, are gradually returning to work as lockdown has been lifted in many places in the country. But salaried workers are finding it difficult to get their jobs back. Now there are two aspects. Loss of job means people lose their purchasing power, and if consumption story will not pan out, economy will slow down. As long as the pandemic situation will prevail, as normalcy will be delayed, it will be harder and harder for the employment market to revive. A chunk of business which managed to survive for 3 to 4 months amid this lockdown may not be able to survive beyond a certain period unless demand situation revives. Now it results further job loss. This will aggravate the situation and it will have a cascading effect on the economy. Let's have a look at the FMCG volume. Trade volume in the urban areas have you can see here the negative growth was there in the urban areas in this graph in orange color. So since December there was a degrowth in the volume in the urban areas. As far as rural areas are concerned, yeah, in the rural areas during the month of March, there the fall was sharp enough. Like it's not the month of March, rather it's the quarter 4 of FY20. The fall was sharp. Rather, Q1 FY21, it came back sharply. I would not say sharply. Yeah, it came back some in a decent way. So pandemic had hardly any impact in the rural areas of FMCG volume. So this is a very good sign, and obviously I would say this is contributed mainly by two things. One is very good monsoon. So IMD projected and it happened that monsoon was absolutely at par, and during Q4 also, Q4 FY20 also, the rural demand did well, consumption did well, and that was also due to good kharif crop last year. So modern trade, yeah, modern trade had a fall, had a sharp fall. Modern trade, what I mean to say, like those supermarkets, those registered very strong degrowth from the growth trajectory to a negative territory in this Q1 FY21, and e-commerce is doing well, and this is the only segment during June quarter which registered some decent volume growth. Let's try to understand the volume degrowth whatever has been witnessed by the FMCG market. HUL management commented that the secondary growth is lagging behind primary growth during the quarter of during the first quarter FY21. So primary growth means primary sales growth, which comes from when distributor sells to the retailer, and secondary sales growth means the manufacturer, whatever the manufacturer sells to the distributor. So this degrowth, growth or degrowth, whatever it is, it could come from either from the primary sales or from the secondary sales. Means either the distributor is selling to the retailer more, so that means there is a genuine demand, and that's why the sales growth has happened, and obviously in turn it will require the, it will increase the demand of the from the manufacturer as well. So manufacturer will also produce also need to produce more. This is one. And another one is like manufacturer is selling to the distributor, that means manufacturer is dumping more to the distributor, but irrespective of the fact that whether distributor is able to sell it to the retailer, or that means whether the genuine demand, the consumer demand is, end consumer demand is there or not. But if it happens, if manufacturer is dumping more to the distributor and at the final consumer level it's not getting cleared up, then what will happen? Inventory will pile up, and after a certain point of time distributor will refuse manufacturer to accept the product. So what will happen? Obviously in turn there will be a volume degrowth. So HUL management told the secondary growth is lagging behind primary growth. Means manufacturer is unable to sell more to the distributor. So that means the problem is not there with the primary sales growth. Primary sales growth means ultimate consumer, end consumer demand is up to the mark, or at least like not whatever the volume degrowth is there, is it's not up to that mark. What I mean to say, there is a higher volume degrowth from the distributor point of view, distributor side, rather than the end consumer. That's why like there is a volume degrowth, distributor is unable to send it to the unable to push it or send it to the ultimate retailer. So this volume, from this we can easily say that primary sales is not that bad like as it is feared. So many consumers are shifting to low price points. I already mentioned this thing. HUL management emphasized this thing again and again. But the obviously till February 2020 rural sector had not picked up. This is a point of worry. After the crisis, the limelight was on rural growth rate due to good harvesting, the government's proactive intervention. Urban has been impacted much more than rural due to stricter implementation of lockdown. The company has not seen any major revival in rural growth rate. So although there is no rural growth rate in HUL's point of view, but from the data point of view, we have seen rural growth has happened in the FMCG sector, as we have found from the overall FMCG performance. As far as Marico management is concerned, they told that April was a complete washout month for all categories except some edible oil, hand sanitizer and coconut oil. Smart recovery in May and June, growing by 2% year-on-year basis. During Q1 FY21, volume fell by 14%. Secondary volume growth was in line with the reported primary volume growth, as the company continued to operate at lower distributor inventory level. So whatever the company is supplying to the distributor, it's less than the normal condition, so inventory pile up is also relatively low. And the management, due to this pandemic situation, the management feels to push less to the distributor, so that it is just because of taking care of their distributors' return on investment. So channel is likely to underperform if COVID situation worsens. This came from Marico management. Staple received tailwind. Obviously, although people are in the home, the demand for staple remains unaffected, and sitting in the home, they have ordered from online source or they have purchased from shops or whatever. So that was at par, and people are very much health conscious. They are trying to boost up their immunity. So obviously, different healthy foods had well demand, and this type of companies like Marico were the beneficiary of this. Discretionary FMCG has suffered. Yeah, if as there is job loss all out, and people will obviously cut down their expenses. So obviously, which is not an mandatory one for consumption, that is avoided. So discretionary FMCG has suffered. Skincare category recorded sharp decline. Yeah, people do not spend. Obviously, people need to cut their cost, their expenses when there is job loss or the uncertainty in the economy, whatever. With more localized lockdown, second quarter of FY21 is likely to be more volatile than first quarter of FY21. That is the fear of Marico management. Management is expecting a flat exit of FY21. So like what we are get to understand, that Q1 and Q2 is not going to be good. Q1 was not that good. Q2 is also not likely to be that good. It is also likely, rather, Marico management told it will be worse. Finally, probably in Q3 or Q4, it will be revived, and gradually we will be achieving towards normalcy, and accordingly, the loss, whatever the volume loss or revenue loss will be there, that will be compensated, and finally there will be a flat exit of Q1 FY21. Now, Dabur management, whatever we have heard from Dabur management, they told that secondary sales growth in June was 7%. Trade pipeline, which is used to be 21 to 22 days, has come down to 16 days. This is same for all three companies, whatever we have discussed, like HUL, Marico. Everyone pushed less to the distributor to reduce the cost, and to for the betterment of the distributor, and to take care of their return on investment, to take care of the distributors' return on investment. This is a clear sign that June growth has not come from additional trade inventory refilling. So secondary growth is not the reason behind any additional volume growth. The growth trend in July are similar in mid single digit, because please note, Dabur did well during Q1 FY21, and they registered some revenue growth during Q1 FY21. Let me tell you the figure. That was in Q1 FY21, Dabur registered a 13% degrowth versus Marico registered 11% degrowth. So Dabur management told that secondary sales, there was some secondary sales volume growth for Dabur management, and that was 7%. Out of home product sales continued to remain impacted. Sales decline of almost 26% dip in hair oil, 30.5% dip in home care, 12.5% decline in skincare, 9.3% decline in shampoos. So overall decline is there. Modern trade is also still suffering, with more stores within malls still remain closed. So all these impacted the performance of Dabur. Their top line remained affected. So from Dabur management also, we have heard almost similar type of words, whatever it was told by HUL management or Marico management. Rural demand was more upbeat in this case than urban demand for Dabur. And contribution of rural sales to 37%, they told. So this is again what I remember, that rural demand of FMCG demand is around 36%. So it is again of the same structure for Dabur. So management expects healthy double-digit category growth to sustain in near term, given COVID-19 uncertainty and rising cases of localized lockdown. Further, brand stickiness is expected to continue even post COVID-19 normalization, given consumers' loyalty. So this same thing we heard from the HUL management also. They told people, although people are moving towards lesser value products, smaller SKUs, but the brand loyalty will be there. The same thing has been also told by Dabur management. They are people are looking for, consumers are looking for less value product but more uh, brand consciousness is there from the consumers part. So low ticket price of the product and consumers preference for trusted brands will continue to drive in home consumption. So almost same thing. Now we will try to understand a little bit of automobile market. So just going into the automobile market, we got to understand that from the FMCG performance, FMCG is the like the impact on FMCG is relatively low. A few companies managed to do good in this situation. Uh, a few categories like food staples, which are immunity related things, those are doing good. Uh, Food products which are unavoidable, they are consumed at per. Discretionary products are affected. Out of the home consumption has is almost zero, like their sales plunged towards zero. And so this, whatever the volume degrowth has happened for a few companies, they are saying that this is not due to the primary sales degrowth, because primary sales is not, at least the whatever the volume degrowth is there, the entire is not fueled by this ultimate consumer demand. So there is not that much impact on the volume part, on the demand part, or from the uh, end consumer's point of view. Now we will try to understand a little bit on Bajaj Auto, their performance. Why I have taken Bajaj Auto to analyze the pandemic situation, because uh, Bajaj Auto is a key two-wheelers player, and two-wheeler is a segment which is very much dependent on rural economy. So to understand the rural economy, I have taken Bajaj Auto. Due to BS4 to BS6 transition, Bharat Emission Standard 4 to Standard 6 transition, the entire automobile sector plunged. Uh, Two-wheeler is the segment which was least affected, and Bajaj Auto is the player who was very like they're very much insulated from the situation. So anyway, uh, regarding the performance during this pandemic, April was a complete washout month for the company. And from IIP data also, we have seen there was a sharp decline. Afterwards, recovery was not that sharp, and complete 3 months was the performance was very much down for the entire automobile sector. But yeah, two-wheeler somehow has managed good enough. Their commercial vehicle segment has suffered a lot, uh, registered continuous degrowth. Their domestic uh, contribution, domestic motorcycle sales contribution is in average around 50%, uh, and their motorcycle export is also around 45-46% in normal condition. But in the month of March, well, the domestic sales was absolutely zero. Then export has only the segment which has kept the sales performing. So they are around 32,000 motorcycle they sold to the export, to the overseas market during April 20. And in the commercial vehicle segment also, they registered some 5,869 unit of sales. So April was a washout in the domestic market. Sales was absolutely zero of motorcycle as well as for the commercial vehicle. In May also, total vehicle sales was down by 69-70% year on year basis. April was 91% down year on year basis, and in 31% down in the month of June, and 58% down again year on year basis in the month of July. So here in the graph also it is very clearly you can understand there is a complete fall. It plunged. The domestic motorcycle sales plunged. Motorcycle export fell, but not that much as it happened in case of domestic sales. And this is uh, and this blue line is about the total vehicle sales that also plunged, and rest our export had a better performance, although it fell, but somehow it was the fall was not that steep in case of export market. So Bajaj Auto had a good comeback, although there was a sharp fall in the domestic motorcycle sales compared to overall automobile sales. So whatever we have heard from Bajaj Auto management, that they told demand has been extremely good in agri-oriented and semi-urban pockets. Earlier expectation of dent in purchasing power, fear psychosis, and weak consumer sentiment is not playing out. This is a very good sign for the entire economy, for also for the two wheelers segment as well. Restrictions on level of operations due to lockdown are impacting demand. Obviously, this is quite obvious. They also told management also told that pending orders at plants, rate of new orders from dealers, investment in inventory by dealers, and inventory level with dealers suggest that things are unfolding in positive direction faster than expectation. The management expects the situation to improve further in August and September. Obviously, three-wheeler market was very much impacted for Bajaj Auto, and so overall, rural economy is not that bad, and overall situation is mixed so far. Whatever we have understood, we got from uh, FMCG sector, and for other segment as well. So agri can give good support. Rural India, good monsoon are giving good support at this point of time. Although there was a very sharp job loss, but some sort of traction is coming from the rural economy, and those supportive factors who are actually helping rural economy to perform. So rural economy, rural demand has not been so great as it is told by HUL management, but somehow it is managing. It's not. It didn't fall that much. It is clear from FMCG as well as from automobile sector. Now we'll try to understand a little bit on the impact on multiplex companies. As you know, retail sector is the worst hit globally. Let's take the scenario in Indian context. I have considered four companies here uh, and excluded Spencer in the list because Spencer is yet to declare their Q1 FY21 result. So I've taken four big players here: Aditya Birla Fashion Retail Limited, DMart, and VMart Retail, and Shopper Store. Uh, Except DMart, raised three companies fail in Q4 FY20 in terms of their top line performance, and they failed around 3 to 11% during this period. In the June quarter, it seems like a washout for most of the companies, like three companies except DMart, fell 33% during this period, where other players failed from 83 to 93%. So So far, whatever we have seen, to summarize, uh, although FMCG companies have not witnessed slowdown in primary sales, uh, but there is concern. It's concern, but a few factors are causing concern. That is job loss and unemployment, which are impacting the purchasing power of the citizens of the economy. Low purchasing power means lower demand. In turn, it will result economic slowdown. In FMCG, urban demand is worse affected than rural demand. Despite good monsoon, recovery in rural demand has not happened. Even if FMCG is reviving, I would say that is more due to change in the market dynamics and demand pattern, like immunity consciousness and hygiene consciousness, etc. Two-wheelers demand seems good, especially from rural areas due to good monsoon, although expectation of dent in purchasing power has not happened so far, but we cannot eliminate the possibility. Demand environment is not as bad as it was feared, but in case coronavirus situation prevails longer and demand or not come back, many companies will be obliged to close down operations. So more unemployment will be there, lower demand will be there. So it will have a cascading effect on the economy. So next, obviously, your question comes. So after understanding everything, what should be your strategy in the market? Say market is likely to remain volatile in near future. Stock specific movements obviously will remain there. Even if you have longer horizon to invest, it is better to accumulate rather than putting all together. Aggressive buying at current scenario is strictly discouraged, and we recommend accumulation of stock rather than putting all together. Finally, if we would get any turnaround signal at the data, we will recommend offloading of the portfolio. So far, till that period, our fresh position will be very limited, very limited, reduced in few days, and uh, whenever and wherever we will find the opportunity to um, spare off or book the position, we will do it. And in case of any turnaround signal, obviously we will offload uh, wherever and whatever is needed to be offloaded. So that's it from my side regarding the impact of coronavirus on the economy. I hope you have enjoyed the video, and if we have, it has given some good understanding, and it will help you to take some good decisions. So thank you for your valuable time, and I would recommend you to visit my website www.aladdin.in, ALADDN, aladdin.in, and our you can have a check at our recent performance, which are with WhatsApp evidence. You can have a check, and you can take a trial and can read our reports and can understand the level of what we are doing at every point of time. So our clients are enjoying with very handsome profit. You may try it once before making any decision of investment. So thank you for your valuable time. Thank you very much.